Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love college football as much as I do. When you look at Oregon, we lost some key players to the draft, most notably Bo Nix. But you know who we got in the transfer portal? We got Dillon Gabriel from Oklahoma. Overall, really good quarterback. I love his versatility. I love his ability to stand in the pocket and deliver throws. I love his ability to be patient in the pocket when he needs to and to escape the pocket. And he's really hard to hit. He's a lot of defenses, great defenses, good defenses have a hard time bottling him up. Anytime Dillon Gabriel played with Oklahoma and he didn't shoot himself in the foot and turn the ball over a lot, they were in every game. They won most of their games with him. So imagine him going to a team like ours with also more elite talent on offense and then having a really good defense in your back pocket, something he never really had at Oklahoma. I'm a Texas fan, so I'm not taking that back. I'm petty. But Oregon should have a really good year. And I'll go through the schedule and explain to you why. They start off with Idaho and Boise State at home. No problem with either team. I think Boise State's a tough team. They'll come to play, but it's home, and I believe Oregon, we're just better. So 50-0 over Idaho, 41-16 over Boise State. And then a couple of road games, Oregon State and UCLA. Both teams lost their head coaches. Both teams lost a lot of starters. UCLA, most notably, lost their defensive coordinator. So both losses not happening. Oregon should win. Oregon State 41-6 over them and 38-3 over the guys at UCLA. No problem. Michigan State and Ohio State next. Michigan State, that's an easy win. Look, Michigan State acquired Oregon State's coach from last year. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a perfect fit for Michigan State. Long term, they'll be a lot better, but not in year one. They did get some good players, but I believe Oregon is just better. And this game's in Oregon, so Oregon should win 45-17. Then they come back home to take on Ohio State. This is a game that I have Ohio State losing to Oregon. And if you've already seen my Ohio State video, I don't change that. However, this is a game Oregon could lose. Ohio State's got a great team every year. They're going to be great this year. They went and got Judkins from Ole Miss. They went and got Caleb Downs from Alabama. They went and got Will Howard from Kansas State. He's a really good football player. And then they got Julian Sayin, at quarterback, just in case Will Howard can't do his job. I think he's a good player. But Dillon Gabriel will be the difference maker in this game. Anytime Oklahoma played a really good team, or they played Texas that one time, but still, Oklahoma managed to win because of him. And I believe you'll see the same thing. You'll see Ohio State up late in the fourth quarter. Oregon's going to have time for one possession, and Dillon Gabriel's going to use his legs to make a lot of plays and throw on the run like he's able to do, and he's going to play great, and they'll end up winning the game with no time left or very little. About how Oklahoma beat Texas last year, you'll see Oregon pull off a big win at home against Ohio State. Moving on at Purdue, no problem, 38-7. They don't really have much there. They come back home to take on Illinois, 45-14. That's about what I see. Illinois is a tough team. They're a physical team. I respect them a lot. They just don't have the talent, and I believe Oregon is just on a different level right now. Even last year, they were great. Outside of Washington, nobody could beat them, so nobody came close. So, yeah. And then they go to Michigan. This is a game I'm concerned about as an Oregon fan. Yes, they lost a lot of their team. Yes, they lost their coaches. But Michigan is Michigan. They're a tough physical team. I think Sharon Moore is going to be a great coach there one day. He might bring them a national championship. Probably will. I think he's going to be really good. And even in my Michigan video, because I like Michigan too, I believe he was doing a lot more than just being the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, play caller. I believe he had a lot to do with that head coaching from last year, because Jim Harbaugh probably knew in the back of his head, either this year we do it all or we don't. I don't really care. So I believe he had a lot to do with that. Then players responded to him very well. It was funny how they knew they were playing Penn State, and the day before, hours before the game, basically, they weren't going to have Jim Harbaugh. That team didn't care. They went out and played just like they did with or without him. It didn't matter. And I believe Sharon Moore was probably already coaching him to an extent of a head coach would. So I'm excited to see what he does with his own program. This is a game Michigan could beat us in because it's at Ann Arbor. That's a tough place to play. Michigan's going to get better throughout the year with Orji. The defense will get better. Everybody will get better with each other. But I believe this is a game we should win. Give us the win, 35-31, but we could lose this game. could lose. If we lose to Michigan, I'm not surprised. Michigan is Michigan. And then we come back home and take on Maryland, no problem. They're a pretty decent team every year. Their head coach is winning games for them. They've won bowl games lately, back-to-back, the Mayo Bowl, and then they came back and beat Auburn in a bowl game this past year without Tua's little brother, Tagovailoa, whatever his name is. So good on them. And then we go back and on the road against Wisconsin. Let me talk about Washington first, then I'll get to Wisconsin. Washington, we want payback. We're real petty about getting our tails handed to us the last few years. Not no more. Your coach is gone. Your players are gone. Penix is gone. All that's gone. You're coming to our house. Oh, we're going to enjoy this. 51-4 tonight. I hope we take y'all's bowl eligibility. Ha ha ha. I don't think so. I mean, Washington's Washington. They're always going to be pretty good as long as they're well coached. But Wisconsin, this game worries me. Wisconsin, because it's tough to play over there. We have to go there for one. Two, I like how they got Tyler Van Dyke from Miami. He's a really good football player. Clearly, he's had a rough 2 years, but his first year, his freshman year, when he jumped right in and started out of nowhere, I think the second half of the year, Miami looked pretty hot offensively. He can clearly play really well. Wisconsin's always got a good offensive line, so that should not be a problem. Fickell is a great coach. He made Cincinnati a playoff team before they became a big Power 5 school, going to the Big 12 like they did. So I expect him to do big things with Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's going to take a big jump in year 2. This is his second year. This is Wisconsin. They have 2 big home games this year I know Oregon's Big 10 now, but they're from the Pac-12 and they usually don't see each other. Alabama and us. I believe they're likely to beat us first. Because, again, Oregon is a really good team, but Dillon Gabriel has had a few stinkers at Oklahoma in terms of turnovers. I think this is the game for it to happen right before we take on Washington and get some revenge. Wisconsin, I don't know about them being elite this year, but they'll be a lot better than a 7-6 team or 8-5 or whatever they were this past year. Give me Wisconsin to pull off a big upset over us, 33-27. I believe Dillon Gabriel has about 2 or 3 turnovers. Wisconsin plays a perfect game. This will be Tyler Van Dyke's best game for his time at Wisconsin. The best game he's had in a few years, even dating back to his Miami games. I think they pull it off with us. Now, best case scenario, we go undefeated. We go 12-0. I think we're better than all of these teams. We should be able to beat Ohio State. They're the most talented team we play. Michigan, probably the toughest team we play. Worst case, we drop Michigan, we drop Ohio State, and we could lose this Wisconsin game still. Or beat them. Who knows? 9-3 at worst. Best case, 12-0 undefeated. We go to the Big 10 championship, beat whoever we play in there. Hey, they can give us Ohio State again. We'll beat them again. I ain't worried about that. I like Oregon. I'm petty about losing to Washington, so now I'm cocky. Now that I know we have the better team, we should win. But for the sake of the video and to go with my gut's telling me to go, that we'll be 11-1. Make the Big 10 championship, win it, and then go to the playoff and get what's ours. So, yeah, I got Oregon going 11-1. That's it.